guys on the right sometimes will say, yeah, not my problem. I don't want to hear about it. I'm building a big wall. I'm getting a lot of guns, moving out of the cities. But it's a retreat from society, which is contrary to our nature as social creatures who are inclined naturally to live in ordered society. So my answer is no. The proper solution, the caring solution that we ought to be able to agree upon on the left and the right, is you got to take care of these people who can't take care of themselves. For our good and for their good too. I love it. Very brave. This is a very courageous stance, and he's going to get no credit for it. Okay, today's Work From Home Wednesday. Don't know what that is? We'll get into what it is. This is my favorite new segment, but you only get it on Daily Wire Plus. You have to become a member.
Nice.
You
dude,
have to become a member.
Dude.
Daily Wire Plus. Then you have to download the app. Then you have to follow me so that I get a higher follower count than Ben and Matt. Andrew, the rest of the show continues now. You do not want to miss it. Become a member. Use code Knowles Canada BLAS. Check it out.
I wonder what those
free on all
fucking
annual plans.
building blocks are, dude.
Today, the Matt Walsh Show, the Democrat grant program, so that more taxpayer money can be funneled to their own, Somali leering centers. They took one look at Minneapolis and decided, hey, we want that in our state. Basically, to sum it up, that's what we're doing. Here's a quote from just one of the bills that Virginia Democrats have introduced to give you an idea. Quote, the Small SWAM Business Procurement Enhancement Program is hereby established to facilitate the participation of small SWAM businesses in state procurement. The goal of the program shall be the achievement of a 42% small SWAM business utilization rate. And the bill continues, quote, the program shall include a small SWAM business set aside for the purchase of goods, services, and construction by executive branch agencies and covered institutions. Purchases up to $100,000 shall be set aside for award to small SWAM businesses. Now, you might be wondering, what is a SWAM? S-W-A-M. And what's a small SWAM? Well, if you go back and look at the definitions, here's what the bill will tell you. Quote, small SWAM business means a small business certified by the department as being small, any subcategory of small, small women-owned, small minority-owned, or small service-disabled veteran-owned. Meanwhile, quote, SWAM means small women-owned or minority-owned or related to a small women-owned or minority-owned business. So this is one of those cases where they've clearly messed up.
Should I start the career or should I just go to Sandbox?
Small SWAM businesses.
Wait,
small
he started the stream?
Did this fucking faggot not know that I started the fucking stream?
Oh, he started the stream.
Really
what game is this?
Minority-owned business. It's a small,
you tell me,
small
bitch.
business that is owned
Yo,
by
it's Kerbal Space Program, dog.
No one ever accused.
Should I go Sandbox or career?
The intent of the bill is
Bro, I've never fucking played this game before, so I don't know.
To minorities. And not because those minorities are the best candidates, but simply because they are not white. If you're a white guy who runs a large business, then you're going to be shut out of contracts under $100,000. A minority owned
you got to build the Tic Tac, dog.
From you, unless of course you want to hire them as a subcontractor. So if you pay the racial equity fee, then you can get a job. These are policies that, as contractors already know,
you wasted your
are the
fucking
norm
money.
In many cases, it's already standard in federal contracting, thanks to the civil rights era. And now Virginia wants to drastically expand this kind of discrimination. Now, it's obviously bad policy that's eventually going to lead to some very obvious, potentially catastrophic outcomes, and already has across the country. And therefore, just to make sure that they never lose power again, Virginia Democrats have also introduced legislation that would make it illegal to count machine-readable ballots by hand.
Yeah, you wasted your life savings on this
without
game.
identifying yourself, along with legislation that allows people who are incapacitated to the point that they need a conservatorship to cast ballots. In other words, they're enabling voter fraud on a massive scale. And there are dozens more bills like this. The account Nova Campaigns has cataloged many of them. Now, if you live in Virginia, or if you did live in Virginia as recently as 2018 or so, all of this, way back then, would have seemed hard to imagine. The Democrats in the state were considered to be relatively moderate, all things considered. They certainly weren't anywhere near as far left as, say, California. But that changed when every moderate in the Virginia State House was primaried in 2019 and in the state Senate a few years later. The party is now under the complete control of California Marxists. And now that they've assumed power, they're not wasting any time transforming the entire state to fit their...
I can't even see. Oh, was that 25,000?
Dog, you don't have enough science. Ooh.
Why can't I go back? Okay, I don't...
Nice!
I can't even go back. Oh, okay, well, I'll go back to that after because that isn't working.
Deranged vision. Now, the other day we spent most of the show discussing how leftists continue to destroy the American entertainment industry with terrible writing and communist messaging, pushing DEI and all that. But at the same time, you know, no one takes those shows seriously anymore. They become parodies of themselves. Look all over the internet. You're not going to find, or it will be a challenge to find, a single serious video or post praising the new Star Trek show that we talked about, for example. All the comments on the show's YouTube premiere are negative, and very few people watched it. Although they did premiere it on YouTube and leave the comments on, which is a bold move. And that's just one of many, many indicators that wokeness, to a large degree, has peaked. Axios just asked 24 prominent Democrats whether men can become women, and like we talked about, virtually all of them ducked the question. The party is trying to move away from some of the fringe, deranged messaging that cost them the last election, but in turn, they're replacing that kind of wokeness with something much more deeply rooted and more insidious and potentially much more harmful. And the state of Virginia is exhibit A for what they're planning. Because Democrats have decided to go all in on anti-white hatred, which every institution in this country has deliberately fostered for at least 60 years now. So it's not going away anytime soon. As the left kind of tries to awkwardly move away from transgenderism, some of the other excesses of the LGBT movement, they are doubling and tripling down on the racial narrative. And we're seeing that in the streets of Minneapolis right now, as they're harassing random white people who just commit the crime of walking down the street or driving. And that racial narrative has proven far more enduring and far more effective. And we know this is a much broader party-wide strategy based on how top Democrats are talking right now. Michelle Obama, for instance, just stated that buying clothes from white designers and white-owned companies is wrong. You need to start practicing wardrobe equity when you're buying your clothing. And this is a clip. This is not a clip from 2020. This is not from the summer of Floyd. This is just this week. Watch.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. What does our closet look like and who's in it? Who are we supporting in it?
Right.
And I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody.
Right.
And so let us be mindful, I think would be my advice.
Yeah.
So the women all nod as if it's a completely normal thing to say, which for these people it is. You're not allowed to avoid black-owned businesses. If you're an Uber driver and you try to avoid high-crime areas because you don't want to get carjacked and shot, your account will be suspended for racism. But if any other race wants to openly discriminate against whites, the Democrat Party will support them wholeheartedly. So before you convince yourself that wokeness has gone away, well, consider the fact.
So what do you do in this game?
I don't know exactly know, but it's like a game of spaceships, so it's kind of like a different version of
prioritize
Minecraft?
patronizing black-owned businesses.
no, it's like a different version
yet,
of Star Citizen.
Even in our age,
But
which
I
is
think
supposedly
either there's
post-woke or
no
whatever, if somebody gets up and says, you know what,
getting
I really
out of the
support
ship,
white-owned businesses.
or some
That's really important to me
like
because I'm white.
very
I
little. I
support
think
my
it's like kind of
people.
like space
Nothing
battle
against
stuff.
anybody else, but before I buy clothing or go to a restaurant, I just want to make sure that it's owned by a white person. Now we all know the reaction to that kind of comment. We know how that will go. And it's true, of course, that Democrats have been talking like this for a very long time, but unlike traditional wokeness, they're doubling down on this kind of rhetoric. Everywhere they seize power, they're implementing an anti-white platform. That's why Zohran Mamdani just appointed
Damn dog, it's a Chad.
to be the chief equity
Does it look
officer
really
of
small
New York.
on your
It's a
screen?
Nice traditional American
It
name
looks
there. A
normal
full
size, but
Atamenza.
it's bad quality.
Bet you there were a bunch of those fighting in the Revolutionary War.
This is what here, I'll send you a picture of what it looks
has
like.
found several posts in which this woman openly attacks white people, which of course is the entire reason that Mamdani hired her. In this post, for example, somebody posted his thoughts on the television show Succession, and Mamdani's new equity director responded by saying, quote, "Tax them to the white meat." Yes, tax them to the white meat. This woman also
Yeah, no, it's
frequently
the full
talks about
screen
her
on my
comrades
screen.
and how they're going to dismantle white supremacy and so on. She also reposted and endorsed a message stating, quote, "There's no moderate way to black liberation." And guess what? None of this is scandalous in the Mamdani administration because they all think this way. That's why his platform called for
So you have
raising
to fix
taxes
the resolution then?
on richer and
Yeah,
whiter
but
neighborhoods.
I don't know if I
And as
can
Sia Weaver, Mamdani's
until
director of
after
penance, put it, They're going to impoverish the white middle class. The white middle class, specifically.
Till after I create my character, which I can't even fucking see him properly.
And Mamdani himself has confirmed all of this, if there was any confusion.
Okay, here we go.
And realize there's a policy proposal that says your plan, and I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see.
Tell me if the screen looks proper now.
An assessment of what neighborhoods are being
Still?
undertaxed versus overtaxed.
So
Yeah, it looks good now.
on your website.
The focus here is to actually ensure a fair property tax system, and that
maybe it was bad quality for you because it was taking the small screen and making it bigger. I think that's why.
Kill the board chants. Remember how the New York Times ran cover for that? What exactly did you mean when you said kill the white farmer?
Please.
Well, it's just a common expression. Yeah, it's just a figure of speech. It doesn't really mean anything. Actually, when you come out and say that you're going to raise taxes on whites
I'm not going to choose it
to their white meat, everyone understands exactly what you're doing. The left has committed to full-on racial warfare. And they're going to win using this strategy unless the Republican Party stops playing the same game in reverse. You know, a big part of the reason why Republicans lost the governor's set up all this stuff to happen in Virginia is that they selected an anti-Trump candidate from Jamaica.
Like, this game looks like it's cool.
Diversity. And she spent most of the campaign talking about being an immigrant who won in a black district, and and how she can win more of the black vote. Watch.
Let me tell you about it. My name is Winsome Sears, and I served in the United States Marine Corps. I was the first Republican to win a seat in the House of Delegates in a majority black district since 1865. In the General Assembly, I had a 100% pro-life and pro-Second Amendment record. I became the national chairman of Black Americans to re-elect President Trump, and we turned out more black voters for any Republican president.
This Sidewinder has been installed with a specialized computer that'll take control at certain points. Mostly you'll follow a series of objectives to guide your actions. These are shown in the info panel at the top right of the head-up display. Okay, you're good to go. Select auto launch from the options ahead of you when you're ready.
I'm sorry. Going right back to location. I'm taking a taxi there. Will you join me? Yes, I'd be glad to. Wait a minute. This telegram changes things. You can all go to your hotel, but you've got to stay right here on the island.
Okay, like. Can I not fucking look around?
The beauty of auto launch is that you can relax and enjoy the view. One of the ways that technology allows us to appreciate the good things in life. Other applicants are departing for their own evaluations, but this isn't a race. Each of the coming stages can be completed at your own pace.
Whoa, dog, it's Saturn.
Remarkable, isn't it? For so long, humanity gazed up at the stars in wonder. We're not distracted by one of Earth's many wars. And now, we glide between them without a second thought. Here we are. Your first task is to demonstrate basic ship movements. The ship's trajectory is primarily controlled by pitch, yaw, and roll. Perform each of these now.
Okay, whoever plays any flying game where going forward on your mouse is going up needs to be fucking shot.
Whoa.
God, so stupid.
Oh.
If you press the joystick forward, it goes down.
You want an innocent person to be shot, dude?
That is worse than fucking
Whoa.
capital murder.
He's...
Imagine if you went to the right and your plane rolled left. Would that make any sense?
It'd make perfect sense. Like you wasted your money again.
Well, I already bought this game like 5 years ago.
Oh. You're putting your back through hell for fucking nothing, dog. Oh.
Why do I have to press anything, dude? Why can't I move the mouse? If the fucking mouse is the joystick and I can't move the mouse to reset fucking controls, how do I fucking reset controls? Dude, does no one think of this, man?
Side. I can feel your hatred, feel your power.
Just as I thought. They used a sharp blade of knife or something. So this is how they got the body out. Whoever it was didn't want you to perform an autopsy. I hope that's clear to you now, Doctor, now that you're fully dressed. Now, the next thing to do is to find that body. No.
Okay, how do you...
That's 2 games that are useless.
How do you press the mouse moving? Like, what do you press for?
You use your finger. Did it work, dog?
It's flying by itself now.
So wait, how big is this game? Is it like 1-to-1 sandbox the universe?
I don't know, but there's hyperspace, so it's probably pretty big.
Too bad you're not going to be able to fly very well in it, dog.
Yeah, I don't get why I can't. Oh my god. Hold on.
How does it feel, dude?
Which one of this bunch, in your opinion, is the most innocent looking? Now, Oscar, you're not going to pretend that you've been into those books again.
Game looks really cool. You can't even fucking use the controls, dude.
No, this is a theory I worked out for myself. Which one of these?
I think God really likes you, dude.
I suppose the honeymooners, the Debbings.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give them a going over first. Oscar, you're a wonder man. Just common sense, that's all. Common sense and inspiration, and a knowledge of human nature. Anything
Okay,
else?
so it says
That and psychology.
go to
No,
up.
I don't see the.
Okay, it's not even. It doesn't even say the same shit, man.
Mind your own business. I'll tackle this myself. This is a man's job. That's what I'm afraid of.
Use your joystick, dog.
You understand, don't you, Mr. Jones? Now run along and play.
Are you
So it
using
says-
controller or
It
mouse?
says regular, but how do I change it?
Come in. Sorry, I'll come back. Oh, that's all right. Stick around.
Dead zone. It's an axis. Has nothing to do with dead zone. Dude, how do these people make money when it's so logical?
I guess it was those newlyweds. Every time
Pitch up,
People like
pitch
you
down.
buy their game.
settle down. It isn't them I'm thinking about. It's me. You know, I could have been like that once. Goofy and cockeyed with love. Well, can't you still be? What, a tramp like me?
Gonna have to ask Chat GPT, dog.
If I had your youth and looks, I'd pick out the nicest and nearest unattached man and marry him. And then what? Then I'd play fair with him. That's more than most men have any right to expect.
Okay, all the control axes can be reverse in the control settings.
About such things.
Wow, if it was that simple, I wouldn't have had to go to Reddit to ask someone.
He is nice, isn't he? So are you? Oh, yes, you are. Much too nice to be mixed up with a possible murderer just to get yourself a job. What do you mean? Well, you see, dear, I happened to overhear you talking with Mr. Tate on the park this morning. Now, you know something about him that you're willing to keep quiet if he'll get you a job. What is it? Well, you know, you've been pretty swell to me. I don't know why.
Dude, why does Reddit say that's a piece of history now? It's too late. Look, that's Reddit needs to be shut down.
You see, I saw
Whoa. Calm down.
What did you do with the body?
That ain't helping nobody.
What did you do with it? We don't know anything about it. Oh, Marty, what is he talking about? Listen here, you two. Well, Oscar. All right, Hilliard. Come on. Close that door, will you? Here are you two innocent honeymooners. Body snatchers, the both of them. Tell them we're not, Mom. We're not. Come on. You haven't got anything on me. Get out. What are you talking about? This guy Devin did it. He stole the body. He's got hair marked with a K. And I saw tracks just outside here.
Dude.
That don't prove anything. I'm wearing myself. You know what? Sure. So do most of the people on the island. They're good too. Made by the Hotel Hospital in Los Angeles. But here's the guy that did the murder, in case you're interested. I caught him trying to make his escape in a rented motorboat. Oh, I've told you a dozen times I was just going out a short ways to see if my schooner was coming. Your what? My schooner.
Good. Now increase your throttle to accelerate forwards.
All right, I'll change your plans. Pretty thin story, Bingo. Stupid. I doubt if he ever saw the neck of a stupid. Come along there, you cat.
Decrease the throttle to resume a stationary position.
Don't arrest him, Brett. Just lock him up. Come along, keep walking. Come on. I hear you approaching the spot. Back man.
Your throttle can also be pulled back from zero to engage reverse thrust.
And all the master mixed up in this too? Yeah.
As before, push the throttle in the opposite direction to cease moving. Inputs confirmed. Looks like you've got the hang of individual controls. Let's see if you can put them all together. Your next task is to guide your ship through a series of checkpoints. Head towards the course, following the target's indicator. The course weaves through an orbital structure and is designed for the novice pilot.
I have a bit of information for you. Mr. Tate did not drink the same liquor that he offered Forrest. But you said it was out of the same flask. Olivia. Yes, it was out of the same flask. But I saw him turn the flask around before he drank. It had 2 compartments.
Fly through the center of the first checkpoint. You'll notice that they change color as you fly through them.
Inspector, what's on your wheel? Well, Mrs. Deving thinks we ought to discuss this later.
I wonder what happens if I fly into the wall.
There's no time limit, so maintain a comfortable speed while you familiarize yourself with the controls.
We're getting information. All right, fella.
You'll have to promise to protect us.
Sure, we're protecting. Come ahead. Well, Mrs. Deving was up.
Rolling and pitching together is the most efficient way of turning rapidly.
Now
I
our country's
fucked
falling
up.
into chaos. But I still believe in the America that has accepted me as an immigrant and gave us a shot at the American dream.
So that was 4 mentioned. That was about a 30-second or a minute ad, and that was 4 mentions of black or immigrant. Maybe 5, I lost count. 4 or 5 mentions of black or immigrant in, whatever, 45 seconds. And so this is still, and they lost. What a shocker. And we're seeing this kind of thing replicated by Republicans across the country in other elections, and the results will be the same. Because this is still the Republicans' bright idea. This is still their, oh, I know. So if we find our own minorities to run, and we run them regardless of whether or not they're the best fit, and then they spend the whole campaign talking about how they're minorities, then we'll win the minority vote. It's never worked out. That strategy has never worked. If Republicans insist on running political campaigns on the left's terms,
see the blue marker beside the throttle gauge.
the left's terms, which is adopting the premise that somehow being black or being an immigrant is a qualification for office. Those are the left's terms, and as long as Republicans adopt those terms, they'll lose every time. And the reason this is a losing strategy is that the left doesn't actually care about the demographics of their candidate, or at least that's not their primary concern, or even close to it. Instead, the left is principally concerned with selecting candidates who will ruthlessly and efficiently disenfranchise and bankrupt and incarcerate and ultimately destroy
You're approaching a
white
particularly
conservative
sharp
men.
turn, so I advise
That's why
slowing
they elected
down
Joe
to
Biden, who
prevent
allowed
any
FBI SWAT
mishaps.
teams to arrest and in some cases kill conservatives who offended the left on the internet. That's why they rallied around Abigail Spanberg, an extraordinarily dull and uncharismatic white man.
Holy fuck, dude, this shit is so janky on
If you feel
mouse,
like you
man.
aren't in full
Contracts against
control,
white men to let
zero your
these
throttle
illegal aliens
and
out of
take a
prison to
moment
take
to get
jobs
your
from white
bearings.
men, to make it easier to rob white men, and so on. And now she's delivering on those promises, along with every Democrat in Virginia. Left unchecked, this anti-white fervor will lead to cases like this one out of Ontario, Canada. A 19-year-old woman who left her 14-month-old toddler unattended in a full bathtub, resulting in the child's death, just received a mere 3-year prison sentence. And that's because, according to the judge, there was systemic racism identified in the community
Your ship's boost function
that
greatly
explains
increases
the
your
woman's
speed,
conduct
but
in
use
this
it
case.
wisely.
Yes, systemic racism, i.e. white people, evil white people, explains why the woman left her toddler alone in a full bathtub for
That's the
5
last
to 10
checkpoint.
minutes
The
without
Sidewalk
any
is
kind
an
of
agile craft,
chair or
and
support
you handled it
whatsoever,
well.
even though he couldn't walk.
A new icon has appeared
And
on
even
the
though
sensor
she had been
display in the
warned by
center
the
of your
government on 2
dashboard.
occasions to
This
never leave her
represents
child
an MIP,
unattended.
which you'll soon scan as part
So
of your
race, in
evaluation.
effect, now excuses murder in
Target
Canada.
the beacon before we continue.
The logic used in this case, of course, justifies reduced sentences for any homicide, including acts of violence committed by black criminals against whites, which are extremely common. In fact, 84% of interracial crimes involving black and white people are black on white crimes. In places like Canada and Virginia and New York and Minneapolis and every other jurisdiction controlled by leftists, those anti-white crimes will soon be excused if they aren't being excused already. We can't allow this to continue. But Democrats will continue racking up wins like this unless we start fielding candidates that will recognize what the left is doing, call it out openly, and pledge to defend white men from the onslaught of racial discrimination that they will face if and when Democrats regain power. You know, Republicans that are not afraid to say, to explicitly say that these people hate white men and want to punish them for their perceived sins, and we're going to stop that from happening. We need Republicans who are willing to just say that out loud. You know, we've mostly defeated the trans agenda, which would have been, would have had civilization-ending consequences if we failed. And now we have to
the shit speeds up so fast and slows down so slow.
Which, as the rise of Democrats across the country demonstrates, will be a much harder campaign.
Fuck is going on, dog?
Now let's get to our 5 headlines. Skip the life overhaul in 2026. Just swap your snacks for ones with real ingredients, like our sponsor, Massa. It's clean eating without the massive diet. Massa's chips are refreshingly simple, organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That's the whole ingredient list. No ingredients that you need a chemistry degree to pronounce. Massa chips are genuinely delicious, like you're not making some noble sacrifice for your health here. And my favorite flavor is the original. Of course, I like to keep it simple. I think the chips are great. We always have a bag at home. Plus, they're sturdy too, so you can actually dip them and they won't fall apart when you dip. Massa chips actually leave you feeling good. No crash, no bloat, none of that heavy, why did I do this to myself? Plus, you actually feel full instead of instantly craving another bag 5 minutes later. Ready to give Massa a try? Go to massachips.com/Walsh and use code Walsh for 25% off your first order. Or simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code to claim the delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online. Massa is now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. Stop by, pick up a couple of bags. Let's start with this. Pam Grier, Jussie Grier as she's known now. Pam Smollett. She has many names. She used to be an actress. She appeared on The View. And I don't know what she's up to these days, aside from apparently eating a lot of cheesecake, from the looks of it. Which is fine. She's in her 70s. I've already said I fully support people over 65 getting fat, which is what I plan to do.
This is a good time to familiarize yourself with a couple of the cockpit panels available to you. In the top left of your HUD is the comms panel, which displays pilot communications and contacts across several channels. The top right is your info panel. Entries here mostly relate to your ship's status, computer messages, and events happening around you. Ah, there we go. Welcome to Lightspeed. Watch the distance and speed markers on the dashboard. These are used to help you accurately disengage at your destination. Your next lesson will introduce the basics of combat. Several static and mobile targets will be provided around the decommissioned megaship. We'll also cover some situational information about weaponry and target tracking. And yes, you'll get to shoot those weapons you saw earlier. Astronomical bodies have a gravitational effect on the FSD, reducing your ship's speed. The closer the body, the greater the effect. drive is disengaged. Welcome to the combat zone. Before you start shooting, however, try analyzing the megaship with a data link scanner. Well done. It's often worth scanning objects you're unfamiliar with to learn more about them. Next, you need to activate your weapons by cycling to a different fire group.
What the fuck?
You'll notice that your weapons are now listed on your HUD. Fire groups allow you to manage your hard points efficiently. Let's begin the combat evaluation. Destroy several of the canisters. All weapons have an effective range, so you may need to move closer here. Your ship has 2 weapons installed. Make sure you use both your primary and secondary triggers. Try targeting the canister you're aiming at. Thrusters are particularly useful for navigating around large structures. Why not give them a try? Your cannon will automatically reload until the ammunition supply runs out. Meanwhile, your laser will fire until the capacitor is
You having
depleted,
fun, dog?
at which point it will need to recharge.
Shit is fucking confusing, dude.
Nice. God, dude.
Quota achieved. Let's dial up the challenge a notch, shall we? An unmanned craft has arrived nearby. These drones are used by the Pilots Federation as target practice, and they're quite harmless. To continue, bring the craft into your sights and open fire.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I recommend targeting your opponent during combat.
Ew.
Notice how your reticules move towards your target. Your ship's gimbaled weapons offer a degree of aiming assistance.
Fucking times do I have to hit this thing, man?
Oh.
Okay, these mouse controls are probably the worst fucking... Well, like, mouse physics are unbelievably bad.
Dude. Game ruined.
Like, holy fuck, man. It's delayed, it fucking... You have to center your mouse, even though it should stop turning when you stop moving your mouse. Like every other game.
Yep.
It's like in Siege, if you fucking turn... Oh wait, no, you gotta... Like, I don't even know what to say, dude.
Nice.
Like, imagine if I had to try to turn my character, and since I didn't recenter the fucking mouse, my character just keeps turning. It just doesn't make sense.
Target destroyed. Good job.
See, it's still turning. I'm not touching the mouse.
This one is fitted with a shield generator.
Don't you have a
Helpfully,
like a
your
joystick or
laser is
whatever?
a thermal weapon, which
Yeah, but I'm
excels
fucking
at
sitting
stripping away
back.
a target's
I
shields.
can barely reach my desk.
Try to stay in the area around the megaship, please.
It's like me saying, hey dog, why not just go outside for like 5 hours, dog? My dog, I'm working. My dog. Like, it's same shit, dog.
Nice, dude.
Can't do it. Can't do it. With how not maneuverable this thing is, it needs to have fucking missiles, man. Holy fuck, dude. Holy fuck. This shit is so fucking wonky, dude.
Bro, you just fucking wasted your time on that game.
Like you can pull up and it goes to the side. Like, it's so fucking weird. It makes it so like you're like someone else is controlling it with you. It's weird.
So 10 out of 10 experience.
I don't even think I can rate it out of 10 because it's not properly playable in my opinion right now.
Damn.
much health does this fucking guy have?
The fuck isn't the stream loading from you? Deleting it?
No, but like, it's fucking retarded. He can stop in an instant, but my fucking thing it takes 1,000 meters to fucking slow down. Oh, and he can recharge his shields. Yeah, I did. I might have to get off the game.
Yeah.
Because he's faster than me, he's more agile, more maneuverable. Holy fuck, dude. Look, I'm still spinning. I'm not touching the mouse. Oh my god, I don't understand.
Whoa. You just broke YouTube, dog. Your stream fucking crashed YouTube. How old is this game? You said you got it like 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's super old. Bro, what the fuck is wrong with your internet? I love how I can hear my dad what my dad's watching in the background. God, that's so annoying.
But you know.
Okay, no,
so
it's just my
that's not the
PlayStation.
problem here.
YouTube on my
this
PlayStation is
story that she
pretty
told
iffy.
from her
It always
childhood.
fucking disconnects.
Seems a little bit dubious.
Yeah, on my phone it seems to work well.
You faced a lot of racism growing up in Columbus, Ohio. How did that shape you?
How the fuck does it work better on my phone than it was on my PlayStation?
Because yeah, PlayStation apps sometimes are garbage.
I fucking pay this much money for this fucking horseshit. You're just tracing 2 dots around, dude. Like, it's so exciting. Well, it looks like you're just chasing like a dot. Well, I see 2 dots in between the circles.
It triggers me today.
Oh, it's a ship.
Yeah, that's not me chasing it. That's the fucking heads up display.
And if a white family supported a black, they're gonna get burned down or killed.
Now, I don't know why.
Oh my god, it turns so slow.
That's one question. More importantly, she makes it clear that she's just not.
Yo, dog, it's a blue planet.
Incredibly dumb audience.
He recharges his shields so fucking fast. Holy, I can't even pull up, dude.
Pull up!
Oh, God, dude. These controls aren't hard, they just don't make sense. Hey guys, let's make this game hard by making things not make sense. I'm not pulling up.
Whoa.
Pulling forward.
We ain't sexist, alright? We don't assume guys made this fucking game, right? Get with the fucking 21st century, you fucking sexist.
Yeah, guys made this fucking game. They clearly have never played a fucking blind game before.
Whoa. Think you can do better
This thing fucking pitches like a goddamn car, dude.
What, in Ohio, the entire state, not in Columbus, where this, as far as we know, never happened. But the last time in Ohio that happened was the 1890s. And if you look up how many lynchings occurred in the entire state in its history ever,
Yo, is that Yoda's planet where he like hides? Is that
the
Dagobah?
highest estimate that I could find
Understood.
was like 28.
Whatever it's called,
Nobody
dude.
estimates more than 30.
Fucking Mitsubishi or
Let's
whatever.
go with that. I mean, it's probably more like 23 or 24,
You're
but
not a
let's just say 30.
Mitsubishi?
Rounding up, there were 30
Yeah, dude.
lynchings in the entire
I
history of
won't
the
even
state
pretend to know what that means.
ever. When it was founded in
Wait, what did you hear on your end?
I'm not a Mitsubishi.
Nice!
What the fuck did you say?
I said, is the planet called Mitsubishi?
Oh, okay. I'll be back in a couple
I'm
minutes.
not a Mitsubishi.
Yeah, dude, what the hell? I'll be back.
Holy fuck, dude. Oh my god, dude, it's fucking retarded. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Oh. Oh, damn.
any justice in the world, you should have a kennel and a tree in the heart of Scotland Yard.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Quite all right. Quite all right.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, fuck. God. He fucking killed all of them.
Come on in. Come on. Come on. This is outrageous. You make me ashamed of myself. What are you doing in my room?
I'm more or less interested in discovering the murderer of Rosswood Forest.
What's that got to do with me?
It's got a lot to do with you, Mr. Mack. What about that envelope?
What envelope?
The one you put in the postbox with $10,000 to vintage.
Oh, you know about that?
You've tried some of the bucatini before, right?
Yes.
All right.
Bucatini.
In that case, we
It's
better
like,
go to the cheaper place.
you know the thick noodles that you get at Chinese places? Yeah, but you know it's kind of like that size. Obviously different texture, but.
You horse-faced old hen. I've been making a sauce.
I was gonna make a sauce today, but
Well, why don't we just make pasta and cheese on Saturday or something? Because I
haven't made a sauce in a while, and I like a sauce.
When are you gonna make that?
I don't know, maybe tomorrow.
Tell me before, because I can have something else made if you're not making that.
Did you turn that light on?
Yeah. You got dog either?
Yeah.
Yo, the two booklets it comes with feels so fucking nice, dude. I almost don't even want to fucking use them. I don't want to fucking ruin that shit, dude.
Are you all right?
Yes. What time is it?
Not by 7. I've been looking for you all afternoon. Second time I come back here, found you in the closet all trussed up. Like, hey, what's the matter?
Word is money.
All right, all right. What happened to you? Who did it?
Beck. Help me up again. I'm gonna get you, Mark. Get him on.
The Lancelot indicator has gone out. When you are ready to travel light years in seconds, engage the FSD.
What a woman. What a man.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right. I'm in a jail. Boris must
charging.
That isn't his gun. He helped me up with an automatic, and I found this extra magazine among his things. Automatic holster, all right. Empty. That means that the
Ready to
murderer has
engage.
my gun. Certainly, for his own use, and he's carrying Mac's gun right now. And that means that he don't know that Mac has you
Frameshift drive
a chip
charging.
identifier. Precisely. That clears the whole mystery, except for one missing link. What are you talking about? All we've got that going is a gun. This proves
Ready
that
to
Mac was
engage.
the center of the whole thing. He brought that $10,000 here to pay off the money. And the murderer now fully involved.
Three, two,
Suppose you tell us why that is.
Okay.
The one missing link is the only thing I can't understand. Dizziest theory I've ever heard in my life.
So you fucking opened the box?
She's right about the other.
Yeah. I didn't count everything, but I think it was, I just looked at one bag. I think it was bag 9. There's supposed to be 15 large bags and then 100 and something smaller bags altogether.
Never let the simplicity distract from the marvel humanity has achieved. Your next stop is Quillo Station. This time we'll employ the Supercruise Assist module to guide your approach. Open the external interface panel to your left and select the Navigation tab. Highlight the starport in the location list and then select Supercruise Assist. It's the second option.
Mark, if I can. I know. You just take your own time. Oh, excuse me. Have a cigarette. Thank you. All right. Come on, Kurt.
If you're lost, exit the external panel and start over. You can take your time to familiarize yourself with panel controls.
I found them in the clearest place. The shop is downstairs, so someone has thrown them away. Why did you change your mind about wanting those cigarettes, Mrs. Debbie? Like sure. I'll tell you why. Because you know those cigarettes are poison. The same cigarette you slipped into that man's pocket on the plane when you fell against him. Poison. Poisoned by Debbie and you. You killed him. As a matter of fact, that's what you did. You want more proof you find that gun in the truth. I was saying it was here on planet. Come on. Get back against that wall. Get back, you. Look. I can go the other way. Just back, son. I'll punch him off just like I punched him. Don't think I missed. I got smacked for killing Marty and double-crossing his life.
With the destination selected, throttle up and aim towards your target. The compass to the left of the sensor display will help you orient yourself.
You can't get away with it. Get back, you. Get back. There are just two people in the world who even suspect the truth about me. And you're both right here. What better do to kill us?
Good. Your ship is now bound for Quillo Station.
He's gonna hear 3 shots. He's gonna come running in here and find me just conscious enough to tell
Dog, is that the sun?
a guy I couldn't recognize put a bullet through my shoulder and murdered you both where you
Fly into that shit.
That's my story.
Let's take a moment to review the interface panels either side of your chair.
And now,
The external panel is primarily used to interact with the galaxy around you. For example, you can access maps, display contracts, and review nearby objects. Meanwhile, the internal panel displays information about you and your ship. You can adjust module functions, check your records, and access the codex, among other things.
she didn't. She didn't tell anything. What's going on? What happened? What's the idea? Oh, no.
New pilots often wonder what their first step into the galaxy should be.
What is?
The pilot's handbook is a great source of help in this regard. It details a variety of professions and how to outfit your ship for them.
She wasn't where she
The handbook also offers advice on various ship functions that aren't covered in this evaluation.
And he's sitting right there.
You can find the pilot's handbook in the codex, accessible on the home screen via the internal interface panel.
Hey, old man. Yeah, that was Mac.
The trails moving around you are FSD wakes. Your ship is also emitting one.
And she shot Mac.
The position of each correlates with their respective sensor display icons.
Working your part, Inspector.
In a moment, we'll be going through the docking process. This will cover docking permissions and a step. Just a moment. It seems Supercruise Assist has disengaged.
What is this guy for us? What do you mean by bailing him out? I was trying to help them. They're gonna be married. I don't care if they're gonna have twins. I'm gonna take them back to the
Where were we? Yes. In a moment, we'll be going through the docking process.
Nice, dude.
Welcome to Quillo Station. This is the final stretch. You'll dock here shortly, but I'd like you to position your ship near the starport's access corridor first.
So you play against other people online?
Starports are the
That I
backbone
have no
of
clue.
humanity's operations throughout inhabited space. They provide mission boards, a commodities market, a number of specialized
I
contacts,
bet that I
and
can,
ship
but I'd
facilities.
rather for now play against NPCs because no idea how this shit works.
Good. Ease off the throttle and hold position here. Oh, and try not to block the access corridor. We'll be using the docking computer for this landing. You can always dock manually in future, of course, but practice in a training simulation first. Whichever method you use, all ships must seek docking permission before approaching a landing pad. To request docking permission, open your external interface panel and select the Contacts tab. Then select Quillo Station in the list, followed by Request Docking in the information panel. Don't enter the starport just yet, pilot. Approaching without obtaining permission first can be dangerous. If you're having issues locating the Request Docking command, exit the interface panel and review your objectives. We've almost completed your assessment, pilot. Don't get distracted now. You must request permission before entering a starport. Defense systems tend to have a shoot first, ask questions never policy. Quillo Station is our final destination. You need to request docking via your contacts list.
Docking permission authorized. Docking assist has been engaged.
You've been assigned landing pad 3. The compass will point towards your designated pad. Ships need to be within 7.5 kilometers of a starport for a docking request to be considered. The docking computer will now demonstrate a safe landing procedure. Let's review what it's doing. Landing gear must be deployed. The related dashboard indicator lights up if this has been done.
Landing gear deployed.
In a moment, the sensor display will switch to the precision approach display, which helps you accurately set belly down on the landing pad.
Docking procedure complete. Engaging pad restraints. Let's get your ship ready.
Congratulations, Commander. Your evaluation has been successful, and a license is being assigned to you as I speak. We just need to finalize your credentials. Enter the hangar to exit this evaluation. It's time to blaze your own trail across the galaxy. The manner in which you do so.
Fucking annoying, dude.
Incoming message.
So, I just think the world is changing, and conversely,
Very well.
In the last 6 months is there's plenty of time for Quinn Hughes, who still has another year and a half on his contract, and they'll figure it out down the road. And then Quinn Hughes and his agent go, no, you gotta figure it out now. That one became a bit of a national spectacle. Any one of us, on this call right now, saw some things that we wouldn't have liked as hockey people that were transpiring in games. Jimmy Rutherford and Patrick Alvey, I mean, they're experienced guys in this league. They know what they're doing. They did not like the way it was going. What you're saying is true, Kipper, and yet at the same time, I haven't asked Jimmy or Patrick this, but I would suspect that they saw the writing on the wall and they weren't going to wait around for this to get worse. They actually, in my opinion, made a pretty strong deal, as strong a deal as you could under those circumstances. Yeah, those are that ended up being decent. It's gonna be funny to see how many assets they have if they do it with a few other guys too. Well, one move recently that caught my eye, I wanted to get you to weigh in on for us is Josh Joel signs a contract. Welcome to your new ship, Commander. Your pilot's Federation license has been issued, and you're free to traverse the galaxy as an independent pilot. Before launching for the first time, allow me to quickly introduce the basic interface for mission contracts. Almost all pilots will use the mission board at some stage. A contract has been assigned to you. Active missions are displayed in the Transactions tab of the external interface panel.
Whoa.
This time you'll need to travel to Mawson Dock in the drone
What?
system. You can select these destinations with the navigation screen.
1803 to today. And the last fatal lynching, we'll say, was in the 1890s. So really there were 30 lynchings, all of them in the 19th century, over the span of 100 years. And if you count the one in 1911, then that's 30 over 110 years, or 11 decades, which averages out to about 3 a decade in the whole state for 110 years. And over the 120 years-ish from since 1911, there have been 0 lynchings. But Pam Greer's lie is even worse, because she's not claiming, right, that she witnessed one lynching. That would be bad enough. She tells the story as though this was a common occurrence. Because you notice how she phrases it. She says, we'd be walking along and my mom would tell us to look away because there were bodies hanging in the tree. That's not what you say when you're referring to one specific incident, which also didn't happen. She's claiming this was a regular thing. I think she said sometimes, right? Sometimes we'd be walking home and there's just bodies hanging in all the trees, like tree ornaments. In the 1960s, in Ohio, they're just black people hanging from trees all over the place. That's what she's claiming. This is an egregious, verifiable lie by a famous, well, relatively famous, used to be famous person on network TV. And she lies like this because she knows that she has cover. She knows that nobody in the mainstream media will call her out. And yet it's still remarkable. I mean, why do this? Why humiliate yourself this way? What do you gain from this? Well, you know, it's for a leftist, of course, the desire to be a victim, the desire to be pitied. That's the desire. It's the desire to be pitied is what animates them.
Do you have any idea how to fix
Now,
a
sure,
coffee
they
grinder?
use the victim status to gain power, to gain
Well, it depends
prestige
what's wrong with
in
it,
their
huh?
circles. It's all a power game. We know that.
Motor
But they
runs,
do
but the
also
the
are
blade is
emotional.
like clogged up. That's what I think, because I could hear it when I turn it on. I could hear the actual motor vibrating, and yeah, the fucking thing is not spinning.
But you can see it, or you can hear that it's not spinning.
No, I can see it.
Well, if you can see it, maybe unplug it if it's clogged up and unclog it. I don't know. Or just try turning it off and then turning it back on. See if that works.
I already tried that.
And there's so much information and there's so much just analysis of what everybody's doing that it does make it more complicated. There is a lot more pressure, but GMs are also a lot more aware that in a salary cap world, you can get away with rebuilding, certainly retooling, but it can't go on forever. You know, the ownership groups look at this as like, we've all got the same amount of money. We expect to be competitive. You may have started a time when the team, you know, I started in Tampa when the team had finished last. So you know you have a little bit of runway, but it's not as long as it used to be, that's for sure. You've got to get things going, and general managers recognize that, and they are trying to be more active. But in general, my takeaway is,
Of course, this thing wouldn't fucking work.
guys that are very hesitant to make big moves or really go out on a limb where you could get fired. Right. Yeah. In Tampa, it did with Stamkos and Hedman. That's for sure. Lads, great stuff, man. I really appreciate your time. We'll do it again soon. I wrote today in the Toronto Star about just that whole dynamic of the Quinn Hughes thing and how these stars, and you've mentioned this, how much you like the power that they have and how much they can dictate now. Yeah, you know, like is maybe not the right word for it. I think oftentimes I appreciate that, you know, you're not stuck in one spot of a poorly run organization. I don't love the idea of guys being like,
level. When you talk about, well, what's their emotional, what do they get out of this emotionally? What's the emotional incentive? And the answer is they deeply desire to be pitied, which is the sickest, weirdest, most pathetic thing for a person to want. Right? Pity should be the last thing you want. Even if you're in a position and something has happened to you that is deserving of pity, you still shouldn't want it. That's how any normal person is. A normal person says, I don't want your pity. I don't want that. And yet you have these leftists that are going out of their way to come up with reasons to be pitied. But we should keep in mind, you know, claiming that there were black people getting lynched all over the place in Ohio in the 1960s is crazy.
We're gonna start building it tonight?
It's not as crazy as saying, on the other hand, that
no, I don't know.
people are
I don't know where I'm
being
going to build
lynched
it, so
today.
I don't know when I'm going to do it.
Which is what leftists will say. So a lot of people have been talking about this.
I don't know how long that will fucking take me.
That didn't happen in Ohio in the 1960s. That is nuts, but these people will say that this is happening today. There are people today who could have this same experience of walking down the street and seeing black people hanging from trees. Here's, for example, here's Jasmine Crockett on this point.
They not even going. Honestly, they're about to outlaw the idea of white supremacy and white hate. Like, they are about to be like, oh, that's not a thing. Forget the fact that you're talking about getting rid of, like, the classification for nooses in a time in which we have seen these random black bodies be strung up down south. Also, seemingly at a time in which you're back in office, because what you do is you embolden the hate. You embolden everybody to take off their hoods. That is what he has done.
They not even gonna be talking about no white supremacy. Child, these publicans, they ain't even gonna.
Your dad playing that in the back?
Yeah. Can you turn that down, please?
I'm trying to listen to it. I can't hear it.
Yeah, and someone, yeah, people can hear. Oh, how could, if you can't hear that, go to the doctor. God, that's like unfathomable. Yeah. Great comeback.
What did he say?
Said I am unfathomable. Yeah, really high Q. Comeback.
Oh, dude. Yeah, like that was so loud. I felt my ears vibrating.
Yeah, but apparently it's so loud for you that you can hear it over the mic and it's vibrating your ears, but he can't even hear it apparently.
Okay, you stop and tell me what they're saying. Because so I try and listen.
Apparently what everything sounds like to you, that's why you have to have the TV so loud we can hear it outside.
My ears are perfect.
They're probably the worst working thing of any person I've ever fucking met. Literally.
What are you talking about?
So, Congresswoman, by the way. So she says random black bodies are getting lynched, which is, I mean, look, we're so used to it at this point, but think about what you're claiming. This is a member of Congress. Just making it up. Totally made up. Random, really, Jasmine, where is that happening? Why have we not seen that? You're telling me everything ends up on social media these days? Okay, if somebody has an unpleasant interaction with the cashier at McDonald's, we're going to see it on Twitter, but we don't see that. There are places where there are black bodies hanging from trees because they were lynched, and there are no images of that on social media whatsoever, anywhere. Huh, fascinating. No, the last lynching in this country was more than 40 years ago. There has not been a single case in my entire life, and I'm old as hell. And that one case was the only one for the several decades preceding it. And by the way, here's one other point I want to make since we're on the subject of lynching. Clearly, anyone claiming that it happens today is insane or lying or both. And same goes for anyone claiming that it happened in Ohio in the 1960s. But there is another point, which is that when we hear about lynching in American history, back in a time and in a place where it did happen, historically it did happen. But I think it's worth pointing out because this is one of those things that's used to prop up the narrative of white guilt. It's worth pointing out that even in the, I guess we would say, heyday of lynching, it was not common, and it was also not always racially motivated. In fact, it often wasn't. And this is what the left does with history. You know, either they fabricate stuff that never happened, or they take some event, they take some data set, they take something that does reflect a thing that actually happened, but they frame it in a misleading way, and then they play this gaslighting game where you're not allowed to correct them, because if you do, right, they can just say whatever they want about lynching, and if you, especially as a white person, come along and say, well, that's not actually what happened, then they'll go, what are you, justifying lynching? Why is it even, why do you have to say anything? What are you justifying it?
Oh, dude.
This is what they do with slavery.
Wherever you are,
you
just can't not hear it.
Which is available now on Daily Wire. So, with lynching,
you hear it in your room, right?
You know, even though we're not supposed to.
Well, no,
correct it.
if he has
like, black people
the
were
speaker
lynched
system on his
all the
computer,
time, and
hi,
it was
Hakan.
always racist. It was
Hear
never
every word.
justified. It was like just go with it. Just go. Don't say it. Just
I
go
remember
with it.
you
That's
used to
the
tell
attitude.
me you used to like bang on your
I
floor,
gotta be the
or
guy
was it the
always.
ceiling? Oh yeah, the floor.
To just point out, I got to be that guy. That in fact, with lynching, something like 1,000 or more of the lynching victims from like the 1860s to the 1930s or so, which is during the time when this sort of thing was happening. About 1,000 of the victims were white. It's a large percentage, probably about 25 to 30%. Not a small percentage. White people got lynched too. And what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that that lynching is not synonymous with racial terrorism. Sometimes it was. That did happen. But what lynching really means, historically in this country, is an extrajudicial killing by hanging, you know, in the most technical sense. And for a portion of U.S. history, especially out on the frontier, out in the Old West, this kind of killing was relatively common because they didn't have a court system, and they didn't have much of it. They didn't have a sophisticated court system or law enforcement that could handle some of this stuff, and so you ended up with kind of this mob justice. So you could get lynched if the townsfolk thought that you were a murderer or a rapist or a horse thief. That was a big one. And so that when we talk about the total number of people where this happened, it's like, well, that's a significant portion of that had nothing to do with race. And some of them weren't even black. There were racially motivated lynchings that did happen too. But like if you look at the estimates, which obviously are not exact, but most people estimate that something like 4,000 to 5,000 people were lynched in America total in the entire history of the country. Not a large number. Well, about 1,300 of those victims were white. That leaves like 3,000 to 4,000 on the entire history of the country who were black, who were lynched. And, well, if white people were lynched for non-racial reasons, obviously, then it stands to reason that there were also cases where that happened to black people because they, in fact, committed a crime or they at least were accused of it, just like the white people who were lynched. So now you take out the people who were lynched not for racial reasons, but as a form of justice for serious crimes in times and places where they didn't have a sophisticated legal system. So now you're narrowing it down, and now you have the percentage, whatever that percentage is, I don't know. Where, okay, now those are the people who were actually victims of racially motivated terrorism. But it's not all 5,000, not even really close to all 5,000. Even if it was, that's still a small number over the entire history of the country. But, you know, that doesn't tell the whole story. And I realize that everything I'm saying right now, this is going to get clipped. It's going to end up Media Matters or whatever. It's going to end up on X, and people, oh, what? He's justifying it. Because this is the game they play. They just say things about history that are not true or are out of context, or it's like there's more to the story that needs to be said, and you're not allowed to correct it. Because if you correct it, that's their attitude. And they'll almost tell you this. Because if you start correcting them on something like this, they'll say, yeah, whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. But we don't need to talk about that. Just let us do this. That's their answer to their historical lies. Just let us do this, okay? We came up with this narrative, and this is the thing. This is what we're saying. It's very simplistic. It's not totally true. But just let us do this because it makes us feel good. And when you start questioning it a little bit, it makes us feel bad, so shut up. That's their argument. Getting a wide variety of whole food ingredients into my diet is key for me this year, and our sponsor, Balance of Nature's Whole Health System, makes it simple. With their convenient blends of fruits and vegetables and easy-to-take capsules, I can ensure I'm getting essential nutrients every day without the hassle of prep work. All right, let's take a look at this. Here's a quick thing. Well, not really a quick issue, but I'll touch on it quickly. CBS News, President Trump had set January 20th as a deadline for credit card companies to lower their interest rates to 10% for 1 year. And now that the date has arrived, most banks and card issuers have largely kept their rates unchanged while also pushing back against an idea that they say lacks key policy details necessary for them to comply. Mr. Trump announced the cap on January 9th, giving banks and issuers just 11 days to meet his demand of getting the rates down to 10%. But so far, so the deadline has arrived, and a lot of these, nobody has complied with it, and nothing has happened to them so far. So I think this is an interesting thing, and I support the idea if it's ever actually implemented, because a lot of these credit cards, 20%, 30% interest rates, and those are insane. That's immoral. Usury is a sin, and bringing those down is a good idea. But it doesn't really get to the heart of the problem, which is that Americans are increasingly basically living their whole lives on credit. This is something that Charlie Kirk talked about with Tucker, and I saw a clip floating around again after it was posted originally by, I'm not sure who, Captive Dreamer, I think, posted originally. But so Charlie was talking about what we've discussed here, which is the scourge of BNPL, which is buy now, pay later. And this is a system that's technically not credit, so it's not regulated the same way, but it allows you to defer payment for something or to break up payments into increments. And this is not a new invention. What is new is that now you can do this with everything, right? You can do it with any retail product. You can do it with electronics, furniture, appliances. All of that has been the case for a while. But now also groceries, fast food, pizza, Uber Eats, Instacart. So increasingly we now live in a country where not only is everyone crushed by debt all the time, but also nobody owns anything. And that to me is the core of the issue. I mean, there are people, adults in this country, who don't own anything, like anything at all. So now we could be in a spot where you might not even own the burrito you're eating because it's on a payment plan. Even that has to be paid off. So just imagine this scenario, and there's plenty of people who don't have to imagine it because they live it, but a person, a young person in particular, sits down in his house at his table to eat his Chipotle dinner. Well, the house is rented, or it's on a 50-year mortgage, which is, that's something Trump wants to do. The table and chair still being paid off, and so is the burrito bowl that he's eating. He doesn't even own the fork that he's eating it with. Ooh. So there's this, a common scenario where you would look at that and you think, well, okay, he owns all that stuff. This is a guy who at least owns a table, a chair, a burrito bowl, and a house. Well, increasingly, no, you don't own anything. All of it's either on credit or it's on a payment plan. And that's the problem. The problem here isn't just the debt, although that's a big part of it. The problem is a generation that doesn't own anything and therefore has no stake in the country. Every January, people set big goals about eating better, being healthier, and then reality hits. Work gets busy, life gets chaotic, and suddenly everyone's back to the same tired routine of wondering what's for dinner. That's where our sponsor, Cook Unity, comes in. They bring restaurant-level flavor straight to your door with chef-designed dishes that balance nourishment, creativity, and everyday luxury. Choose from collections like mood-boosting, better for sleep, and protein-forwards, whatever goals you're chasing this year. No cooking, no shopping, no meal planning. Everything arrives fully cooked. All you need to do is heat it up in as little as 5 minutes. Choose from over 300 rotating seasonal meals with chefs like Marcus Samuelson and Michelin star Rick Bayless. I can be picky about good food, and Cook Unity actually gets it right. I ordered the red wine braised short rib with mac and cheese, and it's ridiculously good. Their chefs clearly know what they're doing, and the variety means that I'm not eating the same boring thing every week. It's a service that doesn't make convenient taste like cardboard. Plus, Cook Unity offers flexibility when you need it. Skip, pause, or cancel anytime. Taste comfort and craftsmanship in every bite from the award-winning chefs behind Cook Unity. Go to cookunity.com/Walsh or enter code Walsh before checkout to get 50% off your first order. That's 50% off your first order by using code Walsh or going to cookunity.com/Walsh. All right, The Independent has this report. Iowa.com/Walsh. All right, The Independent has this report. Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley has signaled a possible break with President Donald Trump over the passage of the Safeguard American Voters Eligibility Act, the SAVE Act, which would require proof of citizenship to vote. The president has complained since his defeat in 2020 about voter fraud. Texas Republican Representative Chip Roy introduced the SAVE Act last January, proposing to amend the National Registration Act and block non-citizens from voting. And it passed the House of Representatives by 220 to 2208, sends the bill to the Senate. If passed, the bill would, and this is, now I'm just reading the Independent, this is how they describe it. If passed, the bill could disenfranchise millions of eligible voters who lack easy access to identification documents and would upend how states register people to vote online or through automatic or same-day registration. In a letter to a constituent posted on social media by MAGA activist Scott Pressler, Grassley, the Senate's 92-year-old president pro tempore, has expressed sympathy for his correspondent's stated concerns about election security, but then added that I've opposed partisan efforts in Washington, D.C. to federalize elections in order to undermine election integrity. I do not believe that Iowa and other states need politicians in Washington dictating and controlling how states run their elections. All right, now obviously this bill should pass. We need voter ID. I don't think I need to go through all the arguments or point out how ID is already required for many of the other things that normal adults do on a day-to-day basis, like driving or opening up a credit card or a bank account or anything. You cannot be a functional adult in America and not have ID. We all know that, or at least the reasonable people among us already know that. And the article tells us that the act would disenfranchise millions of Americans who lack easy access to ID. Well, the second part of that is false. Every American has easy access to ID. No matter where you live, no matter where you live, in modern America, you have easy access to ID. Unless you live out deep in the Alaskan wilderness, okay? Unless you're doing an into the wild thing where you're living in an old bus off the grid in the wilderness, hunting moose until you eat the wrong kind of berry and die. Unless that's your situation, you have easy access to ID. And this claim is especially absurd because, as we all know, it's not talking about people living in the wilderness in Alaska because those people will tend to be white. No, this is referring specifically to black people. And most of them live in urban environments where not only is there going to be a DMV a few blocks away, but there's public transportation to get you there. So, we all know that. Will voter ID disenfranchise millions of Americans? I hope so. Hopefully it will. You know, when I read something like that, well, this will disenfranchise millions of... God, man, music to my ears. God, I hope so. And that's just me, okay? All the voters who are so dumb and so helpless and so incompetent that they don't have IDs and can't figure out how to obtain one, I am very glad to disenfranchise all of them. So when someone's counter-argument is, yeah, look at all these helpless morons who don't know how to participate in society as adults. What about them? This will disenfranchise them. I hear that and I say, good. Yes. That's exactly the point, at least to me. I mean, yes, we want to safeguard election integrity. We don't want voter fraud. But also, if this has the effect of excluding the dumbest and most incompetent people in the country from being able to vote, I see that as a major bonus. Like, they should already be disenfranchised just based on their incompetence and lack of intelligence to begin with. So if this is the way that we achieve that, I think, very worthwhile goal, then that works for me. Works for me. Even if you could convince me, even if you could argue that, well, this isn't going to do anything to help prevent voter fraud, which I don't think that's true, just to be clear. I think it will help prevent voter fraud. But even if you could make the argument that it won't help with that, I would still support it. Because
Dog,
it
you
will
better build
weed
your
out
Lego
the dumbest and
quickly
most
or else it's
incompetent people
gonna
in the country
expire.
who should not be
Nice,
voting
dude.
and should not have any say in the direction
Gonna
of this country.
fucking melt.
But putting all that to the side, I just want to think about this part where it says again in a letter to a constituent posted on social media, Grassley, the Senate's 92-year-old. That's it. I just want to focus on 92 years old. Why in God's name are we allowing 92-year-olds to serve in any position in government, let alone in the Senate? I mean, I've been calling for age limits in Congress and in the White House for years now. Can we at least agree on 90 as a cutoff? Can we do that? Can we start incrementally? Like, can we at least say that when you're 10 years away from being a century old, it's time to retire? Now, I want to make the age limit for Congress and the presidency 70, 75. That's what I would like to do. But if we can't agree on that, I'll take anything I can get. Okay, I'll take anything I can get on this. So can we let's start really easy. How about 90? Can we make the cutoff 90 just to start? But there are people who would oppose that too. I could say, can we set the age limit at 150? I mean, can we at least? There are people that say, well, why should we? What if a mummy wants to be in the Senate? Should we exclude all the mummies? That's ageist. Okay, when you're
All right, Doug, I'm gonna get off for a bit.